You know, this guy on a horse comes. I'm like, well, what the heck is a guy on a horse going to do for us? We take out a tow rope, we tie it around the front bumper of the 1600. He ties it around his saddle on the horse, and he starts to go, and we start to go, and Tavo Vildosola, I'm the driver of Blackjack, number 21 trophy truck. It's a Mason. The only difference is that, you know, between all the other Masons that are out there, including my dad's, that this one we built here in shop. So Mason Motorsports, they gave us a chassis and we finished it off here. And obviously having Dave, Clark, and Javi on our team, they have some very interesting ideas sometimes in terms of what they want to do. So they were eager to do things differently for us. So yeah, it's the Blackjack 21 Mason. When I think about things that really helped me out during my development as a driver, I go back to 1600, you know, a lot, and the 12 cars, and some interesting stories that they don't happen as much, I guess, anymore. But in 1600, for example, just this never give up attitude, right, that we have, and that's how we approach every single race and every single mile that we race today. But in 1600, you know, we were stuck once out, probably out by Mike's, and it was super funny because, you know, this guy on a horse comes. I'm like, well, what the heck is a guy on a horse going to do for us? And I had a co-driver, his name was Santana back then, and so we take out a tow rope, we tie it around the front bumper of the 1600, he ties it around his saddle on the horse, and he starts to go, and we start to go, and you know, eventually we got the car out of wherever we were. I don't even know where we were, but I mean, with a horse, you know, and obviously looking at this thing, you hook up another truck to it, and you can't even move it, right? Like, this thing's whatever, 7,000 pounds. But it's so cool that, I don't know, 20 years ago or so, you know, probably 2001, 2002, I got out of a pretty dicey situation because a horse pulled me out, you know, with a cowboy riding on it. I think that's one of the things that has always marked in my head. And another one is 2003 Baja 500. I raced a single seat 12 car. I was second to get in. The first guy had a lot of issues. We were super late already. So I get in, and I start going. I probably get in like right before Valley T. You know, I get in, and I was doing over Mike's into the beach section back to the finish line. And I don't know at what point, but up in Mike's, and it was dark, right? It was dark already. So I broke a front right shock tower. So I'm like, something's dragging. I stop. I'm by myself. You know, I'm 21 years old. This is 2003. And I'm trying to MacGyver the freaking thing. I have zero mechanical experience, even now, right? Zero. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do. And I'm like grabbing ratchet straps and like trying to pull that tower back up so it's not dragging on the ground. And all of a sudden, I just hear like a rattle behind me. I'm like, fuck this. I'm getting back in the car, strapped back in. I'm like, I'm waiting for someone to come help me, right? Because there was grass probably, I don't know, 3 feet tall all around me, and I'm out there trying to fix it, trying to put counterweight on the other side, trying to put the extra tire like on that other corner. But as soon as I heard that rattle, I was back in the car. I was like, I'm done, you know. So finally, someone came in. We blimped it to the next pit, repaired that side. Literally less than 100 miles later, the other side breaks. Finally got that side repaired. All of this, and I don't know why all these things happen at the same race, but at the same time, the front of this skid plate is coming off, right? So I'm going, and I see the lights, obviously in front of me. I see daylight as the lights. And all of a sudden it catches, and it just like rips off to about where my knees are. I'm like, oh shit, well, this is nice, right? So I'm dragging the skid plate. It's all bent. I already broken one shock tower. I was on my way to breaking the second one. And all of a sudden it you know, that obviously continues to peel back. So I'm driving like this, and I could see the ground if I look down, right? And it was just a little tube right here by my feet, and then obviously the little pad where the brake and the accelerator were, and everything else was just a hole in the ground. Fixed the second shock tower, then something in the steering was broken or something, I don't know, probably because there was no skid plate. The car wouldn't turn well, so as I'm getting to the finish line, I turn, it doesn't turn, it goes up a hill, I put it on its side. People come in, help me, we put it back on, back over on all four wheels. I remember very distinctly, it's when we ran some sort of highway section back in Ensenada, and I had a car in front of me, a car behind me, and a car beside me, because the car wouldn't go straight. It was just darting all over the place, so just kind of to make sure that I wasn't like jetting off the road or someone was coming. So finally made it to the finish line, and we were 10 minutes late for cutoff, and it was like, I lost 2 shock towers, I lost the floor, rolled it maybe once or twice, I don't remember exactly, and we were 10 minutes late, and it was like, it was one of those experiences where we're like, well, you literally did everything you could to finish. And later that year, ran the 1,000 with Brian Eichler in a 12 car, ended up winning the Baja 1000, right? So it's all those experiences, I think, that at the end of the day kind of, give you the path and give you, form the driver that you are. In the Pro Truck, there was a lot of them. I mean, but I think that those two are really the ones that, in terms of different racing experiences, because a lot of the adventures that you have, in my opinion, are pre-running, right? Where like you break and you're stuck somewhere for hours and hours, and it's how do you get a 8,000 pound pre-runner down from wherever you are, right? And so some of those experiences are a little bit different, I guess. In pre-running, there's not as much of a time crunch, but for racing back in the early days, 2001, 2002, 2003, those are really marked and seared in my brain. I say it's part of my DNA. I mean, it's about pride. It's about, it's about representing something that's bigger than you as well, and right now, out of the 35 trophy trucks, I know that there's more, right? But there's 2 Mexicans in trophy truck. My dad's in trophy truck legends. It's the Amputias and ourselves. And we're representing Mexico. There's 30 gringos, right, that are racing. So they represent themselves. To me, when we're racing, we're representing Mexico, we're representing Baja. And, having that, and I talk about 2010 and that being a big relief. It was like having an 800-pound gorilla on our back, from 7 to 10. Everyone was expecting us to do something, right? And we finally did, but it's not pressure from society or from the fans or from the team. It's pressure from myself to do well. So that's, encapsulating racing for me, from pre-running to actual race day, and then processing what happened race day. That's what I love about it. I mean, I think that it's hard when we don't do well, just because, again, there's a lot that goes behind trying to do well every single race.